This isn't just another contract saga. This isn't your average off-season headline, and this isn't a negotiation that lives quietly behind closed doors. No, this is something else entirely. This is the beginning of a power struggle that could either cement the Dallas Cowboys as Super Bowl contenders for years to come, or crack the foundation of their championship window from the inside out. This is the Micah Parsons situation, and trust me when I say, it's not just heating up. It's quietly erupting beneath the surface like a volcano on the verge of explosion. It's subtle, it's strategic, it's slow-moving, and yet it's the loudest silence in the NFL right now. Because when you've got a once-in-a-generation player, a defensive monster unlike anything we've seen in decades, part edge rusher, part linebacker, part quarterback's worst nightmare, who is calmly, publicly, and almost eerily composed just days before training camp begins without a record-breaking extension in hand. You're not just staring down the barrel of a negotiation. You're dancing at the edge of a cliff. The whole football world is watching Dallas with a quiet, bated breath right now. They know what's coming. They know that the contract that will eventually get signed will not just reset the edge rusher market. It will shatter it. It will redefine it. It will plant a Micah-shaped flag at the top of the NFL's financial mountain. And yet, here we are, watching this glacial standoff unfold as if nobody's in a hurry. But make no mistake, time is not on the Cowboys' side. Let's rewind for a second. When Micah stood at his high school jersey retirement, surrounded by pride, legacy, and the people who knew him before the world did, he didn't flash arrogance. He didn't stomp or shout. Instead, he let the tension build quietly. He delivered calm, reflective words. I'm not fazed. I'm letting the cards fall. Things are going to play out how they're meant to. And to the untrained eye, that sounds like peace. But to those who understand leverage, power, and psychology, that's not peace. That's control. That's calculated dominance. That's a man who knows exactly how close he is to turning the entire NFL world on its axis, and he's choosing to smile while he holds the detonator. Because Micah Parsons has already won half the battle, he's controlling the narrative. He's not holding out, he's not lashing out, and he's not playing games in public. He's doing something much more terrifying. He's being patient. And patience from a player of Micah's caliber isn't a lack of urgency, it's a demonstration of power. And the Cowboys? They're running out of time. Every day they delay, every hour they hesitate, every moment they push this negotiation deeper into the calendar, they are walking into a trap of their own making. Because this isn't just a Micah deal, it's the Micah deal. This contract will define how players see the Cowboys. It will define how future stars approach Dallas. It will define whether this front office is serious about championship windows or whether they're content playing checkers while the rest of the league plays chess. And the worst part? Everyone knows exactly what the deal will cost. This isn't a mystery. This isn't a puzzle. Micah knows the number. His agent knows the number. Jerry knows the number. We all know the number. It's going to be the richest deal ever given to a defensive player. And everyone has known that since he racked up double-digit sacks as a rookie. So why hasn't it happened? That's the $1 million or perhaps the $140 million question. And the longer it lingers, the more dangerous it becomes. Because when July 20th hits and players report to camp, and July 22 brings the first full practice, what happens if Micah shows up and doesn't participate fully? What if he says he's ramping up? What if he says he's easing in? Suddenly, every reporter in Oxnard will have one question, and one question only. Is this a hold-in? And once that narrative begins, it doesn't go away. It becomes the shadow looming over every practice, every press conference, every locker room conversation. And let's be real. The Cowboys do not need another distraction. They don't need a will he or won't he story arc dominating the offseason. They need clarity. They need leadership. And they need to reward the very player who has made their defense one of the most feared in the league. Because make no mistake, Micah Parsons isn't just dominant. He's foundational. He's the kind of player you build your identity around. and Dallas is tiptoeing through a minefield instead of handing him the keys to the kingdom. But as if that wasn't enough suspense for one offseason, let's not forget, Micah's contract isn't the only domino. Lurking behind him is Daron Bland, the underappreciated, overperforming corner who very well might be the best defensive back on the roster. And now that Sauce Gardner just detonated the cornerback market with a mega extension that leapfrogged every number before it, the Cowboys are staring down another financial cliff. Bland isn't Sauce. He's not Derek Stingley. But he's also not that far off. And that gap, it gets more expensive every day. Because the NFL is built on momentum. One deal creates 5 more. And while Bland might not be demanding $30 million per year, he's not going to settle for $20 million either. Not when J.C. Horn is sitting at $25 million. Not when A.J. Terrell is at $20. Bland falls somewhere in between. But the longer you wait, the closer he gets to the top of that ladder. And that makes the Cowboys' indecision even more frustrating. It's not just one contract looming. It's a web of contracts, and each thread is tightening the entire structure. Tyler Smith? He's next. Jake Ferguson? He's around the corner. Brandon Aubrey? Part of the athlete's first agency, just like Smith and Pickens. And speaking of George Pickens, that's another potential big-ticket player who'll need attention. The Cowboys don't have time to play musical chairs. They need to act, fast, decisively, before the house of cards collapses. And this is where it all circles back to Micah. Because he's the standard, he's the precedent. If Dallas pays him now, they control the message. They set the tone. They reestablish dominance. But if they wait, if they stall, if they try to nickel and dime a superstar with the charisma of a franchise quarterback and the production of a future Hall of Famer, they're going to lose more than money. They'll lose credibility. They'll lose trust. And most dangerously, they'll lose momentum. Because Micah isn't just a linebacker. He's a symbol. He's the pulse of this team. And the second that pulse starts to falter, everything else breaks rhythm too. So now we wait and watch. Every second ticking by feels heavier. Every rumor adds weight. Every practice without full participation fuels speculation. This isn't just a negotiation anymore, it's a storm. A quiet, calculated, potentially catastrophic storm hanging over Oxnard like a thundercloud nobody wants to acknowledge. And if you think it'll just pass, think again. Because the Cowboys have a choice to make. And time is running out.